it got me thinking, is this really real? You know,
Greetings and salutations. This video today is based on an interview with Dr. Gary Mendoza. However, before we start, it would be excellent if you could subscribe, so we'll be able to produce more videos like this. But without further hesitation, here is the 7 PT food myths.
I think the biggest mistake that a lot of PTs make is forgetting that their clients don't like the gym, don't like exercise, and are very unlikely to follow some strict dietary plan long term. They'll follow it for 5 or 6 weeks, while it's kind of new and motivational and what have you. If you're going to be any good as a PT, you want your client to have long-term results. So rather than concentrating on fad diets and protein shakes and what have you, they need to find things that are going to work for that client's lifestyle. My kind of mantra with this is, it's your lifestyle that got you fat, and it's only your lifestyle that's going to get you thin again. So that's what we should be addressing. So I'm a big advocate of find out what your client currently does, and then start to adjust that slowly over a period of time. But certainly don't jump in with both feet. Right, you've got to do this, you must eat breakfast, you must have that meal, you must have a protein shake after training. It's like, all these things, yeah, they'll do it for a few weeks, but the novelty is going to wear off, and then one of two things will happen. They will either not get results, in which case they'll ditch the PT anyway, or they won't stick to the plan. They'll be starting to make excuses to the trainers. Oh, I couldn't quite do that today because I was a bit busy. And so you kind of slowly, the whole motivation just wears off. And then eventually the PT loses that client. From a PT's point of view, they're going to improve their retention if what they're doing is looking at that client's lifestyle, as opposed to, oh, but I know this works and this is the plan I always use. Because quite frankly, there is no one plan that always works. And I think to kind of just write down a whole bunch of foods on a sheet of paper, or to write out recipe plans, which quite frankly most PTs, I don't think they realise they're not qualified to do that. And at some point someone is going to get sued for doing this, because it's happened in the States already, where a PT's been sued for injuring his client with nutrition. So it's only a matter of time before it happens here. And PTs should not be trying to kind of solve that type of problem. A, they're not qualified, and B, they could do more harm than good. But it's interesting because I always used to teach, I have to say, that eating little and often is the way to go, because based on what evidence we had at the time, it would appear that 5 to 6 meals was the optimal in terms of metabolic effect, because of the thermogenic effect of the food. And what I mean by that is how many calories it actually burns in the very act of being digested. Research has shown that actually if you compare 5 or 6 meals a day to 3 meals a day, in terms of the effect on metabolism, it doesn't have a huge amount of difference. That's not to say that eating 5 or 6 meals a day is a bad thing, because I just think from a weight management perspective, if you are able to eat 5 or 6 meals a day, you're most probably not going to get too hungry, and you are starting to eat to your hunger. But in terms of, is it really necessary that your client eats 5 or 6 meals a day because that will boost their metabolism? This new research shows that that's not really the case. And the other thing that you want to look at, however many meals you're going to go with, is ensuring there's always protein sources in there. Protein's got a thermogenic effect of about 25%. So you eat 100 calories of protein, 25 of those calories are burnt off before you even kick off. Protein's efficient from a weight management kind of energy balance point of view. And the other big plus with protein, and this is something always to bear in mind, is it's really satiating. So your client doesn't feel hungry. And I think that's quite important, because the minute they kind of get that hunger drive, they're going to look round for whatever's convenient, and 9 times out of 10, whatever's convenient ain't that great. My answer's always the same. If one of them worked, every GP would be prescribing it, and we wouldn't have an obesity epidemic. And it's like, look around you. So yeah, a bit of common sense would help with some of these things, I think. I've got an issue with all diets, to be quite frank, and there's a big study been done in the Journal of the American Medical Association that has pretty much turned around and said we should stop researching diet. And that's simply because Every derivation of a diet has now been studied. If you think of a combination, there's research on it. But when you look at the success rate of that research at 5-year follow-up for the people that bother to stay on it, so already that's a small proportion, the average weight loss is about 1 to 2 kilograms. And so it's like, well, if we're going to spend all that money and that's the best we can do, maybe we better start researching elsewhere. And basically what this study has said is we need to start looking at why people or how people make lifestyle change, because that is actually the key to this. Because I think with diets, one of the reasons they tend not to work across the board is what will work for you won't work for the person that's standing next to you, because as humans we're all so different. We seem to respond to things in different ways. You would think, well, why should that be? And it is this genetic difference. Intermittent fasting works if you do it. The academics that set that up in the first place do it. And I've actually spoken to the doctor at Leeds Carnegie who actually first started using intermittent fasting. But she said that it's been hijacked by the media. No surprise there then. And she says now people think intermittent fasting is you can eat any food you like on your 5 days and you're not allowed anything on your 2 days off kind of thing. And she says that was never what was designed, and that's not what's been researched. She said for starters, on the kind of no food days, if you want to call them that, of 600 calories, and that should be healthy eating. There's none of this, oh, it's 600 calories, eat what you want. It's still the same parameters in terms of your fruit and veg and so on. On the other day, she said you can eat more. It was up to about 3,000 calories. It was still fruit, veg, meat, dairy and so on. So still a balanced and quite healthy, natural diet. No processed foods in there. I think if we kind of follow those rules, we're kind of healthy eating, and I do think the odd day where you don't eat very much most probably won't do you any harm. Where on some days they just kind of have a complete blowout and it just goes totally pear-shaped, and that seems to work for them. So it's like your body, no matter what you do, no matter what regime, your body does seem to adjust to it. I think they've got their place with athletes when you just cannot get the calories in, when it's not practical to use everyday foods. So I'm talking someone that maybe needs 6,000-7,000 calories a day. You're trying to get that from food, you are going to struggle. There's no two ways about it. But in terms of, would I then go out and use something like Herbalife or Bodybuilder? No, I wouldn't. I'd kind of make up my own meal replacement. Because I've always thought that with our diets, the thing that is causing us the problem is all the things we add to it. So whether that be fructose, corn sugar, table sugar, colorings, whatever. The reason we have so many issues in terms of health, obesity, or whatever, it's all we mess about with food. And when you look at the ingredients, Visalis, Herbalife, whatever, the ingredient list reads like something with mad chemists has had a field day. It's like there is no way that can be healthy for you, and it annoys me when I get CPTs. And basically what they're doing is they're reiterating the marketing blur that they've been kind of indoctrinated with. All this, well, I start my client off on their meal replacement, and that is moving them towards a healthy lifestyle while they eat properly. And it's just like, that is so rubbish. Where is your evidence for that? And it's like, yeah, but all my clients lose weight on it. Well, all my clients would lose weight if I put them on a shake that kind of reduced their calorie intake by 500-600 calories every day. There's a scientific basis for the protocol, because that's what we kind of do in the NHS. I mean, I don't, so I'm not a dietitian, but an elimination diet, differently to what some PTs think an elimination diet is. They'll do it for about 4 days. They then add back the particular food that they think may be an allergen of some description, and they do blood tests and they look for an increase in white blood cell count. Now, I've had people say to me, oh yeah, I've done this elimination diet, and when I put the food back into my diet, I suddenly felt bloated again and all that. And it's like, well, you will do, because your digestive system will now adjust to whatever you're eating. It will down-regulate whatever enzymes and bacteria is in the colon, because that will change because you've changed your diet. You now add back a food that the body kind of hasn't seen for a while, and it's like, whoa, what's this? Don't quite know how to deal with it. And so you might get a bit of excess gas or a bit more inflammation, but give it time, that would settle down. But unfortunately, people add back, I mean, the classic one is gluten. You know, so they eliminate all gluten for 2 weeks. They go, oh yeah, I feel really good. But what they fail to kind of recognise is whilst they've been eliminating gluten, they've improved their diet massively in terms of they've most probably not got so many processed foods in there. They've most probably cut out caffeine and God knows what. So although they're feeling better, a lot of that's down to you've just improved your diet actually. You now add back the gluten. Yeah, you feel a bit bloated, a bit sluggish, and now you psychologically go, oh, do you know, it was the gluten that was doing that all along. It contains gluten. You instantly start to reproduce the symptoms because psychologically you're like, right, but if I eat that type of food, this is what happens to me. So much of it will be almost kind of like a placebo effect in reverse, if you like.